Hello, everyone. Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle. And as you may know, Nick Walker is your 2021 Arnold Classic champion. And these two gentlemen here were vying for that second place position. I am sure that it is in nobody's thoughts that either of these two should have placed first. But you may have noticed a female announcer, was rather upset that Iain Valliere took second place over Steve Kuclo. That was Steve's wife. Who puts Steve's wife? Who puts the guy that, going for a top spot? Who puts that guy's wife as an announcer? I mean, wow, wow. Anyway, Arnold was bad enough. He went on and on and on. Cedric McMillan stroking his trophy backstage. Oh my goodness, I don't know what they were talking about. But anyway, guys, do I think that Steve Kuclo should have placed second? When I was watching the event, I thought sure, he is going to place second. But it's not like it was a brutal beating. Let's go through these poses, and I will say one thing. Steve was winning after the prejudging, things of that nature. And then the finals, I guess, is where Iain Valliere or Valliere, I heard them calling him Valliere all night, and they never had a problem with that. So I'm going to keep on calling him Valliere. Iain Valliere, I guess he won on the finals, so we'll keep an eye out for that. This pose here, I would say, Steve Kuclo, he's too big, his wheels are too dominant, and my goodness, guys, I hate to start off with the calves every time, but what a dominance indeed. I will say one thing for Iain, he has a good midsection here, winning in that aspect, and he's winning in the guns. You see that? Iain, not a bad set of arms. Been working on that for sure. Now here is the finals, and here is where we will be looking for Iain to be really taking over. And this is where Kuclo's wife, because I believe it was Dennis James, he said, well, he must have got better in the finals. And she said, no, he didn't. And you can see plain as day, guys, that he was better in the pre-show, was Iain. So, I don't know. And Steve looks better here. They did switch them up here. They let a guy, Nick was obviously to the other side there, and they let them go to the center, and Iain here in the center, and he's just overwhelmingly small structurally compared to Kuclo. And if they do bother to look at the wheels, I mean, no, his conditioning was not better, was Iain's in the finals. The separation and the wheels were a little bit less here, and if anything, Kuclo looks a little tighter for the finals. So that's one pose, guys. That's one pose. Go to the front lat spread. And this is an Iain Valliere shot, for sure. Keep in mind, Kuclo, I don't know if the timing was off or he just was not opening it up the full extent. But I don't know. The midsection, both of these guys, if you look at the video footage, both of these two dudes compared to Nick Walker were breathing heavily. Not so much in the prejudging, but in the finals. My goodness. But still, guys, when you look at the lats, I would say Iain Valliere ties things up. Don't look at the calves, though. Go to the finals. And of course I look at the calves. Of course I do. But I'm sure Iain Valliere is sitting at home thinking, it's not a calf competition. It's an obvious win for the upper body here for Iain. But then Kuclo wins the entire lower half, I would say. Good set of wheels on Kuclo. Complete set of wheels. Now switch them up here, put Iain in the center, and see what I mean, guys. I didn't select a bad picture of Kuclo on purpose. He just had a hard time opening up. And this is a case where, yeah, sure, I would give it to the guy that's... I mean, the conditioning seems similar. I still, look at the legs. Kuclo looks like he's in better condition. I don't know, though, guys. It's a debatable sport, for sure. So it's a tie game, more or less, quote-unquote, heading into the side. And this is a good argument for Iain to win the side chest. I mean, he looks good. He looks more aesthetically pleasing. And if you look at the midsection, it looks great as well. Obviously, the calves don't play as a huge role here, and that sounds kind of funny because 9 times out of 10, it is where you can see the lack of calves on the side. But Iain, not as bad from the side, because from the front, it is his overwhelming quads that I think draws the attention towards that area. Go to the next day, the final, or I guess it was the same night. They go to the finals. Now, Iain does look drier here in the quads, and the glutes, things of that nature. He looked good at the prejudging though as well. Here's the Iain going to the center. I thought they were doing this just to throw us off and think, don't give it away on who's placing second. I thought for sure, but I guess they were serious. They were putting Iain in the center because obviously he beat Kuclo. Look at Kuclo's chest. Wow. He looks great. Iain, a little more aesthetically pleasing. Side tricep. Now this is a debate. Also. Kuclo, he looks good, but he does not look as conditioned as Iain. I don't think. Midsection, quads, glutes, but they had Kuclo ahead at the prejudging. Now go to the finals. It looks like Kuclo, he came on strong. Looks like he's coming on a little stronger. And it looks like Iain, if anything, fading away slightly. Now these pictures are not as good, but you can watch the video footage, guys, and judge from yourself. I mean, there's plenty out there. Switch these two dudes up and see what I mean. Kuclo, he just comes on strong. Good and dry in the legs, hamstrings, things of that nature for Iain Valliere. Nice little hanging hamstring there, actually. Good midsection, tight for Kuclo here. You can see for the finals, he looked better. So maybe the judges had it switched upside down. I don't know, guys. I would give it to Kuclo, and we haven't seen the back yet, but I guess Iain would have to be winning from the back. And could he beat Kuclo from the back shots? Oh, I don't know. I would give this one to Iain. I'm not trying to be a hater on Iain. I'm not trying to say, Kuclo's wife is right. I was right. I have to look at the pictures first. Iain Valliere's back is underrated here. You see that? Smaller, much smaller frame, but no real true muscle separation for Steve Kuclo. And the glutes, hamstrings look very dry for Iain, and of course he's losing in the calves. But is that going to make the difference? Go to the finals. Sorry, a little tongue-tied, I guess. Up late watching this and doing videos on this. Seems to be in the wheel department, aside from the calves, of course, which are not as noticeable, strangely enough, from the side and from the rear. Isn't that funny? Good back, Iain winning in the back. Switch these two dudes up, and I do believe Iain is a little bit stronger from behind. And that was kind of maybe a situation where people overlooked it and thought Iain's back sucks. He's going to lose every shot. Well, take a look, guys. He's big, he's dry, he's conditioned. Go to the rear double by. This is a better shot for Kuclo. And maybe not as good for Iain. Good muscle separation in the delts. I like the dryness here for Iain. Doesn't have the most separated glutes in the world, or hamstrings for that matter, but very dry. Pleasing, and the calves again. Look at the size of Kuclo's big calves. Should be given a couple of points for that, and he's winning in the back development. I would give him the rear double. And the finals, same thing. Not enough meat on the back, on the lower lat insertions of Iain Valliere. Still though, glutes, hamstrings look very dry. Throw the calves in there. I don't get it. Do the judges not look at calves anymore? I mean, look at this. It completes the physique, I think. Maybe it's I don't know. Go to the switch these two dudes up. We're not going to anything. And put Iain in the center. Iain much smaller here, underwhelming in size, lats, traps even. Good arms, decent arms, good delts. But Steve as well. Lower half, if anything, Kuclo's losing, aside from, of course, the great big cows that he has. We'll call them cows because they're bigger. Abs and thigh is a pose that you would not brag about for either man. But I think because the way Kuclo is hitting it, he's hitting it to spec, I guess. Maybe you would want to throw him the point. Is he winning on the quads? I don't know. For an abs and thigh, I don't mind just one thigh sticking out. like Iain's doing, but I definitely don't like the upper body pose. Here is the finals. And you see this, guys? Kuclo looks like he is in better condition for the finals. So surely, if he was winning in the prejudging, should he have not been winning in the finals as well? He looks tighter. And don't call me Shirley. Leslie Nielsen, anybody? I said that joke before and nobody said anything. Here is switching the two dudes up. Now, Iain did come on a little strong here for this abs and thigh. He looks good. And like I said, guys, I'm not hating on Iain Valliere, but the guy that places ahead will take more criticism. I'm sure if Kuclo placed ahead, hey, if I did this matchup, I might be arguing for Iain Valliere. But finish this one off. Iain does look a little bit more conditioned in the upper body, but when you look at the wheels, I have seen more separation in his quads. And when you look at the calves, it's all she wrote. It's all she wrote, which obviously the judges are not looking at anymore, which is very disappointing. Wheels altogether. I mean, Kuclo is he's a friggin' beast. Big Texan. I just cannot get over that, the calf difference though, guys. And strangely enough, it is the front shots that show up the most. Here is the finals and the final say on this. Now, to say one guy was screwed over, was ripped off, was Steve Kuclo ripped off? Thus far, I would probably give Steve the win, and I said probably give Steve the win. Does that mean he was ripped off? No. There's a lot of judges out there. There's a lot of judges that prefer certain physiques, and they're looking for certain things, guys. Obviously, the calves is not one of them. Here's the switching the two dudes up, and I guess this will be the final say on it. And Kuclo, he's a big, massive stud. And like I said, guys, the judges, there's many of them. It's not necessarily one guy's decision. It's a accumulation of things. And Kuclo's wife she was ticked. I remember watching it myself, guys. I was watching it myself, and they said, and in third place, Steve Kuclo, and I hollered out, substantially loud. Said, what? No. So, yeah, I would go with Kuclo. But looking at all of the pictures, it was basically a few things, calves, which I maybe notice more than other bodybuilding gurus, buffs, and definitely the judges. But, hey, it's a basement. It's your basement of the house. So I'm not going to disrespect Iain by giving him a loss in this one. I would personally give it to Kuclo. Judges gave it to Iain. I don't have a huge problem with it. But I mean, I don't know. I still side with Kuclo's wife, but I don't want to start anything with Melissa. And anyway, guys, hit thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Have a great day.